Hi, my name is Mark. We're getting ready here to show you how to do a full vehicle inspection from front to back, side to side, as well as underneath. What I'm going to do is start with the process with a 2000 Ford Bronco, and our intentions are to walk around it and make sure that everything that we have on the vehicle is in fact ready for service. So this is how we go about checking the complete vehicle to ensure that it is road ready and ready for service for the customer that owns it. So please follow me as I proceed to walk around this vehicle and show you what we're going to do. My first step is going to be to turn the lights on and check the switch, make sure the horn works, turn the switch on, check the lights, the blinkers, and brake lights, everything. So if you'll work with me, I'm proceeding to begin my inspection at this time. Thank you, and I'll try to keep you up to date. First, I'm going to hop in the vehicle, and I'm going to check the horn and turn the lights on. I've checked the horn. The horn does not work at this time. I'm turning the lights on. Stand by, and I'm going to turn the key on, as well as the left blinker. As I can see, I have both dim lights working, and I have a left front blinker, as well as I have a left rear blinker. Now I'm going to turn on my bright lights as well as my right hand blinkers. Again, I have just now turned on my right hand blinkers, so we're going to walk around and make sure that they're working. The right hand blinker right front and clearance lights are working. I'm now going to turn my bright lights on to make sure that they are functioning properly. And yes, the bright lights are in fact on. I will go to the back to check my right rear blinker to make sure that it is working. As you can see, my right rear blinker is working just fine. I'm also checking my lights for the license plate, and one is working and one is not. So we have to make note of that. All right. Now I'm going to get in and try the backup lights to make sure that they are in fact working. So I'm going to leave the lights, or leave the switch on, and pull the shifter into neutral, turning off my blinker. And now we're going to go to the back and see if the backup lights work, which in fact the backup lights are working. So we know that around the vehicle everything's working. The only thing we have not checked are the brake lights. I will be back with you momentarily. Okay, now what I've done is I've installed a jacking mechanism on my steering column to make sure that my brake lights are set. So we will now go to the round of the back to make sure the brake lights are working. We have the left brake light and the right brake light are in fact working, as well as the cab high brake light above the rear window. So we know that the brake lights are in fact functioning properly. So now I'm going to shut off the lights, and I'm going to turn off the ignition switch for now. Okay, now we have the lights off, the ignition switch off for now. My next step will be to get under the hood and check fluids, look at the belts, and check for any leaks that are on the top side that can be diagnosed or at least noted prior to raising the vehicle. Thank you. Okay, now I'm getting ready to open the hood to the Bronco and to start checking areas under the hood to ensure that they are in fact ready to go. Okay, the first thing you have to have in order to do an effective underhood diagnostic or troubleshooting is to have a proper flashlight. so that you can actually see something. That the hood compartment in there is awful dirt or awful dark. So the first thing we're going to look at is going to be the fan belt. Fan belt looks reasonably well. What I'm doing now is just checking for overall leaks. And I'm checking to make sure that the idler pulley, it appears a little bit loose. This tells me that possibly the bearing could be going back. And we're going to look and we're going to check to make sure we got radiator coolant. I can see from the top without having to judge from the side that the radiator coolant is in fact low. Now we're going to check washer fluid. Yeah, the washer fluid is in fact low. Now what I'll do is to check for any leaks that are down the side. I do not see anything so far. I'm looking for any leaky valve covers or anything on the top that can be noted. I see no broken wires at this time. I'll check power steering fluid. Even though the system's cold, we can have at least a check on it. And this does in fact mean power steering fluid because it is low. The radiator, we can actually check the radiator itself to see how it is. And the radiator is down probably a good gallon. So the radiator in fact is low. The master cylinder appears to be at the max level on it, so it is full. Again, I will check this side to ensure there's no visible leaks from the top, no broken wires. And the battery, no corroded terminals on the battery. And the battery, in fact, appears to be fairly new. It appears to be from March, looks like 2005. So the battery's fairly fresh for what it's being used for. As we can see, the rest of the system appears to be decent. So that should conclude our topside under the hood inspection. And I'll be back with you in a moment. Alrighty, welcome back. I have taken the time to set my posts the way I needed them to raise the vehicle. As you can see, I now have them set. The arms on both posts are set so I can raise the vehicle. So now what we're going to do is going to bring the vehicle all the way up so that I can get underneath it and I can go ahead and check the underside of the drivetrain. So we're going up. You gotta love it, man. It's a wonderful thing. All right. We're almost there. You hear the clunks and the clanks? Those are the safety stops. We're going to have to bring it back down just enough to sit on a couple of those stops once we get it high enough. All right. Out there. And that's it. I'm going to bring it down. You'll be able to watch it there. Okay, we are now currently setting on the stops. The hydraulics are no longer holding anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from the back, and then we're going to work towards the front. And I am going to set you on the floor so that you can have an idea of what I'm doing while I'm walking along. All right. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get out our handy light again. And we're going to check the differential. And what we're going to check back here is we're going to check to make sure that the rear differential seal is not leaking, as well as we're going to check the rear disc brakes to make sure that they have enough distance left on them, if they have material left, so that the owner and operator of the vehicle will not have any problems. So first I'm going to check the left side rear. And I'm going to come in here, and what we're going to do is we're going to check for, what I'm doing is checking for the depth of the amount of material left on the brake pads from behind. And the best you can do with this is to check the shadow to make sure that there's enough shadow that you feel comfortable that there is in fact enough room left in the brake pad. Everything looks good from here. There does not appear to be any leaks, no frayed hoses. The middle hose looks good. The shock absorbers do not appear to be oozing any liquids. We do in fact have an oil leak or seal leak on the front of the pinion seal of the rear differential housing. Okay, we have the right hand side, the shock looks good, as well as the brake pads look actually better than they did on the driver's side rear. So everything looks good here. The brake hose and everything looks fine. The tires appear to be very good. There's no oddball wear on them. So I would say that the rear tires are great. The spare tire has a lot of tread on it. No valve cap, unfortunately, on the spare, but the spare is inflated. Okay, now we are going to go and we're going to roll up front here a little farther. We're going to check the exhaust system from the front to back. Everything appears to be decent. No rattles within the exhaust pipe. And no rattles within the catalytic converter. That is what that little animal right there is, catalytic converter. The O2 sensor is hooked up. It looks good. The rear of the transmission does not show any seepage around the yoke on the rear of the transmission. The drive shaft and U-joints cannot be lubricated, but they certainly look good. All right, we're going to check. The oil filters are one thing, or fuel filters are one thing we cannot check. It's just one of those things that you have to agree with, that the fuel filter is in fact decent shape unless the vehicle starts running rough. Again, I'm checking another catalytic converter. Nothing looks bad there, but the transmission does in fact look like it's got some leaks from possibly around the pan. So we do have a few transmission leaks. The electrical stuff looks like it's all hooked up. The exhaust pipe looks decent. Again, we have some oil seepage from the rear of the engine, between the engine and transmission. Hard to tell exactly what that is. And it appears we could have some oil seepage from a valve cover from up above. All right. On the passenger side, we have a definite oil leak from somewhere up above. I can't make it out from here, but it's certainly coming cascading from above the engine, or from above the bottom. All right, and now we're going to check the front end. We're going to check boots. Because it is a rack and pinion steering system, so we are going to check the suspension pieces on a rack and pinion. All right, we're checking the driver's side boot. It looks good. Passenger side boot, it looks good. It has got a clip loose off the end of it, so we've got to document that. The rack and pinion looks okay. There don't appear to be any leaks on the power steering. The front main seal could be is damp. Again, looking at the bottom, looking at the fan belts. The air looks good. And over here, once again, looking at the boot, no issues. And the ball joints, all the ball joints look good. That is where we stand so far. Now I'm going to check the ball joints for looseness to see if there's any looseness in either the ball joints or any of the tie rod ends. Okay, the left front looks good. Okay, we have a loose right front tie rod in that is certainly wallowing around inside the steering knuckle. So we do have a problem there. We do have a little bit of movement up and down on the left front wheel, driver's side wheel, which appears to be maybe the bearing is not tight enough, and it's got a little bit of free play in it, so it doesn't have quite enough load on it the way it's currently set. So as it stands, that's where we're at. The bushings on the sway bar look good. Back, and the shocks do not appear to be damp on the bottom bush or on the bottom sleeves. So I just have to say that the shocks are probably in good shape. There appears to be no broken wires, no loose connections to speak of. Come on, you dumb thing. And again, motor mounts look good. Again, we still have that oil leak. And it appears we may have a fluid leak from above the rack and pinion. So, I'm not sure where that's coming from yet either. It could very well be cascading from on top. But that is pretty much the size of our inspection with underneath the vehicle. And everything appears to be fine. The tires look good, front and rear. We'll believe that we're going to be in good shape. And I thank you for watching.